Okay, so now is the finale of episode 21, the entire Bill saga, and this is the third episode of the whole Bill fiasco. And I don't know, as I'm like talking about what happened between Bill and I'm starting to like ask myself, like, was I the problem? But I'll talk about that at the end, and I kind of think that this is the best episode since it is the finale, because this is where I get to talk about what I learned and how I feel and all that jazz. So, beginning. Okay, so after this takes place, after my freshman year of college, this is the beginning of my sophomore year at college, and throughout all of the summer, I was like freaking out because I knew I was going to have to see Bill again, and I didn't want to deal with it, and I was really worried, and I was really scared. However, sophomore year at Biola begins, and I don't see Bill at all. I remember I kind of looked around for his car, but I didn't see it. I was kind of asking around, but it turns out that Bill did not come back to Biola. And I was actually very surprised, and at the same time I was very happy and relieved. And I realized that that's kind of a shitty thing to say, but after everything that happened between Bill and I honestly never wanted to see him again. But going on, his grades, from what I understand, his grades were awful. Like, they were completely fine. He was going to class and all that, but after he started going out with Taylor, he didn't go to class anymore, and it was the same thing, and his grades dropped really badly. And honestly, like, that's kind of a big deal to me. It's like, if your parents are paying a lot of money for you to be at this school, why are you wasting your time, like, playing video games or, like, hanging out with your girlfriend? And I realize that's kind of a harsh thing to say, but, like, in my mind, top priority is always my schoolwork, and like then comes my friends. And I realize that, like, you know, that's kind of shitty to say, but like seriously, I want to get through school and I want to do well. So yeah, so pretty much as I have described in the previous part, my part 2, I knew that Taylor wasn't gonna come back because she didn't like this school. But I did not know that Bill was going to go follow her. So Taylor ends up going to school in like Illinois or Pennsylvania or something. And Bill dropped everything to go follow her and to be with her. Yeah, he just dropped everything to live with her. And he pretty much told everyone that he wasn't coming back like a week or two before the school year even started, from my understanding. If it wasn't a week or two, then it was like right before school was going to start, or yeah, less than a month. And big surprise was that Bill married Taylor. So they've only known each other for like a couple months, definitely less than a year. They hadn't been dating for very long, and then they ended up married. I don't even really remember how I felt when I heard that. I'm not sure if it was like betrayal or disappointment, but I know that it was some sort of negative feeling that I was going through. I don't really get why. And honestly, like, looking back, I should have just been over with the guy after he said to me that, like, you know, you're a liar and you're a person of poor character. I should have been done with him after he told me that, honestly, but I don't know why I stuck around. But you know, I was naive. I didn't know what I was naive. I didn't know what I was doing. I was young and stupid, so like I'll just kind of blame it on my naivete. Like, I had to learn somehow. But honestly, I should have been done with Bill after he like said all that shit to me. So I just have no idea how I don't really remember how I felt. I just know it was negative, but now honestly I like think about it and I kind of laugh. As far as I know, they're still together, and like even like me and San Diego, we kind of want to know like how that marriage is going. But anyways, So the aftermath is that it took a while for me to heal. And honestly, if I were to be in the same room as Bill and Taylor, I probably run away. I wouldn't want to be in the same room with them. I wish them well, but I don't ever really want to hang out with them ever again, honestly, because the whole thing was just shitty and terrible and sad and negative. If I ever saw him on campus, I would just run the other way because I don't want to hang out with him whatsoever. And I highly doubt he would ever want to hang out with me because I'll admit that on my end, I was pretty shitty. I can't even look at pictures of him on Facebook. I remember one time, I was talking to some girlfriends of mine and I mentioned that, Taylor and Bill were married, mentioned it to them, and they looked, they looked him up on Facebook and I couldn't even look at his picture. And this was less than 2 months ago, no. It was around the end of the school year, it was a couple months ago, they looked up his pictures on Facebook and I couldn't even look at them because, I will admit that I still have that animosity. But they're for sure married. Okay, so my big catharsis, though, that I will say that happened from this whole Bill thing, that, this is how I, pretty much got over it, even though, okay, so I would describe myself right now as that I'm over it, but I never want to see him again. And my big catharsis happened sophomore year of college. Okay, so I have this thing called a memory box, and I put my memories in them. I put all of my old journals, I put little knickknacks and pieces of paper and stuff throughout the years that hold a significant memory to me. And I have a lot of memories, I will admit that. So I was going through my memory box trying to clean it out, I guess you can say, and then I found the chocolate box that Bill gave me for Valentine's Day freshman year, and I was just you know what? I'm gonna burn this because I've always wanted to burn something. So one night, Megan, Sandiego, and we went to, okay, so you have our dorm, and then there's this gate, and then out of the gate there's a residential area. So there's this small cul-de-sac between the gate and some houses, and we went to the cul-de-sac and we burned it. We burned that box. And it was kind of funny because it took us the longest time to get that box on fire. For some reason it wouldn't set on fire. I used a lot of nail polish remover, which honestly doesn't even work. I forgot what else we used. I think hairspray was one of it, but it took us forever. And then slowly but surely it finally caught on fire. It smelled awful, but we were just sitting there watching it, and I was you know what, guys, because I'm such a sentimental, sappy person, I looked at my two friends and I was you know what, you guys are my best friends, and thank you for being here, and this is awesome. But as I was saying that, one of the RAs from our dorm, I think it was he was an RA for Nick's floor as well, he walked out and he just looked at us, and we looked at each other and we didn't know what to do. So I remember Cam's face. He just looked at us, he looked down and then he looked at us really confused. And so we just started slowly walking off into this little bridge area, and we just started walking slowly, just staring at him and then we started running, and I was wait guys, my ID is still there. And then we came back and I looked at Cam and I was just I'm so sorry about this. And the RA Cam just looked at us and he was just I really don't care, this is actually really funny. So there was that, and that was just kind of an awesome moment. Okay, so this next part, I'm not sure if I should say it, but I'm just gonna say it anyways. So my brother Sandiego lived with the guy for a year, and he told me some of his actions that he would do. And so Bill is a very calculated person. He doesn't really understand emotions well. He can't really tell if someone is joking or not. Obviously, freaking arranged marriage. Like, he is very technical. So it's possible that he has Asperger's. I'm just saying that it's possible. I don't really know for sure. I am not a licensed psychologist or psychologist. I'm pretty sure a psychologist diagnoses that type of stuff. But, like, I don't know if he had it for sure. But if he had that or some sort of autism, I would not be surprised. I'm not bashing people with autism or anything like that, but if he had it, I wouldn't be surprised. And honestly, like, looking back, had I known that there's a possibility of that, then, like, this entire thing probably, well, like, it might still have happened, but I would have been able to handle it a lot better. Yeah. But, like, okay, given the characteristics of someone who is autistic, and when I compare it to him, like, if he had it, I would not be surprised. Not saying that he does, because, again, I'm not a doctor and I'm not licensed to diagnose things like that. Like, I haven't even had my mental illness rotation. But if he had it, I wouldn't be surprised. But, again, this is not bashing people with autism at all. But, yeah, some other things that San Diego told me was, like, he kept dirty dishes in the room and they would end up, like, rotting and smelling bad because he would cook meat, and, like, honestly, like, their room smelled really bad. And I remember one time I was, like, so frustrated with, like, the smell that I literally washed his dishes for him because it was just so bad. Also, he was a very inconsiderate roommate, apparently, and, like, he would get up super early and he would play video games, and he wouldn't even, like, from what I remember, from what my brother told me, like, he wouldn't even, like, you know how when there's, like, when you play video games, like, some, like, you can either, like, just play on the keyboard or you talk to other people. He wouldn't even, like, put it himself on mute or anything. Like, he would play with the keyboard, but he would also be talking to whoever else, and, like, that's pretty rude. Also, like, what else? He would, like, keep the light on, so, as they were trying to sleep. So there's that stuff. Okay, so, what else? Okay, so this was kind of, like, this is part I'm kind of proud of, is, like, this is the first time that I stood up for myself for wearing makeup. I remember one time we were talking about makeup or something, Bill and I, and then Bill was like, you know, Kimmy, you're just so much prettier without your, like, no. He said, like, I don't see why you feel like you have to put on makeup all the time. You're so pretty without it. And I looked at Bill and I was just like, dude, I don't do this shit for you. I do this for me. It was the first time I stood up for myself to, like, wear makeup, because I really like makeup and I enjoy it. Like, if I didn't love putting on makeup and, like, if I didn't like the creative aspect of it, then, like, why do I have so much of it? I mean, like, usually, this is kind of a side thing, like, usually I do, like, bright, bold looks with, like, bright green or, like, orange. Actually, I don't have orange, but, like, you know, bright colors, like, fuck you and your face colors. But, like, today I kept it a little simple given what I was wearing. But, like, yeah, if I wanted to cover up insecurities or if I wanted to look normal, like, do you really think that I would have tons of sugar pill shadows? Like, really think about that. If you don't know what sugar pill is, look it up because they're an amazing makeup line. And, okay, so this is kind of mean, but the guy wasn't really physically attractive, and oh God. I remember one time Jamie, my sister, she asked me what he looked like, and I told her his name on Facebook, and I saw his face for a millisecond, and I just started cringing, and I didn't want to look at it anymore. But, like, she saw pictures of him, and she was like, Kim, what the hell? He looks like a pedophile, and that kind of made me feel good a little bit. And even one time Jessica was just like, really, Kim? Bill? Really? You could do a lot better. I still remember like, Jessica, because you watch these, I still remember her face. Like, it was like the seriously girl. Like, oh God, I remember her face and her tone of voice. But anyways, to the piece of resistance, what I learned, which I honestly feel as if that is the most important thing of these vlogs, and this shows my growth or some shit. What I learned. Okay, so I shouldn't date someone or be in a relationship out of guilt. Basically, the reason why I was nice to him and, the reason why I was nice to him and I hung out with him, part of the reason is because, like, I felt obligated to. You know, he was being nice to me and he was doing all these nice things for me. So it's as if that I felt obligated to be his girlfriend because he was nice to me. And even during high school, I even kind of told myself, like, well, you know what? If a guy's nice to me and wants to date me, I'll give him a shot. And in a sense, like, I did give Bill a shot, but it just didn't work out time and time again. And obviously, the whole thing exploded, which I will admit was part of my fault. But yeah, like, I don't need to be in a relationship because I feel obliged to be in that relationship. I should be in a relationship because I like the guy and he likes me and we treat each other well and he smells good. I really like a guy who smells good. So if I don't want to do something, I shouldn't force myself to do it, and I shouldn't force myself to feel comfortable, because there were like certain times where like we were hanging out and like I know that he kind of felt like we were dating, but it just made me feel kind of uncomfortable because we weren't really. And, I shouldn't force myself to make up those feelings so he wouldn't feel bad. Because then in turn, I feel bad. And, you should just be honest. I remember, so this next kind of subsection under the, I shouldn't be in a relationship or be married because I feel obliged to. I remember, like, I was talking, like, after the whole thing blew up, after the whole birthday fiasco, I told one of our friends, like, I told my friends, like, I told one of our mutual friends that, like, I felt like I was going to have to be forced to marry him, and this girl, I feel kind of bad for her I'm happy that she sat with me through this terrible experience, and she was like, oh, Kimmy, don't worry, you don't have to marry him if you don't want to. And I'm thinking about that now, like, wow, like, if he was going to ask me to marry him, I might have gone through it because I felt forced to. So, yeah, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Just because someone's nice to you and just because they like you doesn't mean that, like, you have to force yourself, and if you're not feeling it, then it's a no-go. But I rewrote that, like, you don't have to force yourself to like someone back. Second big category, I guess, is, like, I don't like doormats, and I don't like guys who, like, don't speak up for themselves. I really want a guy who, like, is fiery and aggressive, and that, like, he doesn't do whatever I tell him to do. He has his own opinions. He speaks his mind. If he's uncomfortable with something, he'll tell me. If he wants to do something, he'll tell me. Like, it really bothers me when guys just do whatever you want them to do. Like, now I'm sounding really confusing, but it really it kind of bothers me when I'm thinking of all of the plans and ideas and the other person isn't, but it also bothers me when, like, the other person has no thoughts or opinions of their own. They just agree with you wholeheartedly all the time. That kind of bothers me. Like, no, have your own opinion, speak your mind, give me something to work with, and if we don't agree on something, then fine, cool, let's, like, meet in the middle and make a compromise. And the thing is, Bill just basically did whatever I told him to, and he had no opinion on his own. The only thing that he asked me to do for him was take the Strength Finders test, which, again, like, I didn't really like. But, There was no fight in him, there was no aggression, and he bottled up his feelings and then it just exploded, as you saw from the other 2 episodes. I don't want someone who will let me easily control them. That actually really bothers me because, again, like, have your own ideas, speak your mind. Just don't sit there and tell me I'm pretty. Like, no, let's do something. Figure out an activity that we can do together that we would mutually enjoy. Like, fight with me. And I know that sounds kind of fucked up, but growing up, I guess you can say that I had, like, aggressive parents and that my parents, they would fight with each other, and even though that's not really healthy, in a sense, that's what I'm used to. Gosh, this sounds really confusing and really bad, but, like, how do I explain it? Like, I want someone who is fiery and will speak their mind and opinion, someone who won't let me walk all over them, and someone who'll tell me no. Like, you know, they're not going to tell me no just to be an asshole, but, like, they'll tell me no because it's like, no, I genuinely don't want to do this, or, like, they'll tell me, like, you know, if they want to do something, they'll be like, yeah, that sounds fun. Does that make sense? I realize I'm all over the place, but big picture, I want someone who will fight with me when they want to. No. They'll fight with me when the situation comes up. God, that sounded awful, but, like, he was a doormat and he let me do whatever I wanted, and that really pissed me off because it was as if he was just kind of like a doll with no thoughts or emotions or feelings, and when he bottled everything up, everything just threw up. Yeah. And basically, I knew that it wouldn't work because, like, one reason why I knew it wouldn't work is because he had no opinions. He just did whatever I told him to, and, like, that's kind of frustrating and annoying, honestly. Which doesn't sound like it would be an annoying thing, but it actually honestly is. Okay, so 3, that's the third category, or third subject, I guess, is, wait, let me read this. Yes! Okay, so number 3, which this will prove me to be a bad person, but I want to be honest in these things as much as I can. And, like, again, this whole thing was a learning experience, was I can be manipulative if someone lets me. So that's kind of why I don't want to date someone who's a doormat, because I know that I'm going to take advantage of it, and I'm going to take control of that person. I kind of don't want that. I remember trying to, like, get him to buy me stuff, I think, at one point. Like, it was around my birthday, and he kind of mentioned, like, oh, what do you want? So I, like, was showing him what I wanted on Sephora. It was a Kat Von D eyeliner set. Yeah. And, like, I tried to get him to get me things because he would let me. Like, he let me take advantage of him, which this third subplot, I guess, correlates to the second one, where it's like, I don't want someone who'll just do whatever I tell them to and will let me control them. I don't like that. But I learned from that I can be manipulative, and I can be manipulative. I am capable of using other people, and I am capable of hurting someone, which honestly, at that point, I never really thought about, because I always saw myself as the victim, honestly. Like, if you look at all my other ExFiles, like, I played the victim card, and I felt like the victim that no guy ever likes me, all I ever do is get hurt all the time. But what I did not realize is that, in turn, I can be really shitty, and I can really hurt someone else. Because I will admit that I really hurt the guy. I'll admit that, because I did go back and forth between, no, I don't like you, but I like the attention, so I'll be nice to you so I can get the attention. But we're just friends, but I still want you to treat me in a certain way, even though there's no strings attached. I admit that, and, like, looking back, I did hurt him. I mean, I made him cry at least once. And I tried to control him at a point. So through the whole thing that happened between Bill and I do realize that, like, hey, I can be manipulative and I can hurt someone else, and I have the capabilities of, like, trying to control people. Fourth category, I guess, fourth thing that I learned is that all relationships are a two-way street, and honestly, if it's just a one-way street, is it really a relationship if the other person is putting no effort whatsoever? Yeah, but relationships are a two-way street, and everyone has their own thing that they did wrong, and they should own up to their actions. Like, everyone is guilty in one way or another, and they should own up to it. And what I mean by that is, like, you know, I was doing all of this shit to him, I will admit, but at the same time, he let me get away with it. He bottled up his feelings without saying anything. Like, you know, I assumed that everything was fine, but no, it wasn't. There's that. What else? Yeah, he didn't have to, like, tell me I was a terrible person and say that I was a person of poor character and that I was a liar. Again, the arranged marriage thing was a joke. He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to parade his girlfriend around the way that he did. And yeah, P.S. on that, like, I forgot to mention this, but on that couch, like, they would make, like, thankfully, I didn't see this, but they made out on the couch, like, a lot, like, a couple times, and like, other people saw it, and a lot of people were like, it was disgusting, and he had no idea what he was doing. So that mildly makes me feel better. But yeah, like, the whole, like, after the aftermath of everything happened and during the summer before sophomore year, I blamed myself for everything. For a period of time, I was like, you know what, it's all completely my fault. I drove him to do and say all this stuff to me. But then there came a point where I realized that, like, you know, yes, I was a shitty person, and I will take ownership of all the stuff that I did because I wasn't very cool. But at the same time, he did stuff too that wasn't awesome. He did stuff that was pretty shitty too, and you don't need to take responsibility for what he did. He needs to take responsibility for his own actions. Me, I just need to take responsibility for what I did, learn from it, and move on. Which took a little longer than I thought it would. But, yeah, like, in all relationships, it is a two-way street, and both parties are guilty of something. So, yeah. Also, like, you know, I did take advantage of his, like, again, I took advantage of his niceness. He was a doormat, and he bottled up his feelings, and his feelings exploded. So, fifth category is that, like, I realized through this that I am extremely insecure, and I am constantly worried about what other people think about me and what other people say about me. Okay, so example, through this whole thing, like, when he told me, like, oh, I don't want to be your friend anymore and stuff, like, he said that, oh, like, my friends would always say stuff about you, and then I would defend you in front of them, and I didn't really know what he meant, but then from that, I was like, oh my god, all of his friends hate me. And I was worried, like, okay, after, like, during, like, the beginning of sophomore year, I was so worried of what his friends thought of me, because his friends still went to the school. But honestly, like, okay, so I mentioned Bo in another, like, in the past part. Bo and Taylor were dating, but yeah, anyways, like, Bo and I kind of got close because we were lab partners, and I told him how I felt, and he was just like, yeah, well, honestly, Kim, like, we don't hate you or anything, we don't really care. And, like, it was just such a relief to hear that from him, because, like, you know, like, it was nice to hear that, but I tend to worry about nothing, and, yeah, like, I was really scared and insecure about what these people thought about me. And in reality, if I think about it, if they didn't like me, then like who really cares? Because I'm never really gonna see them again. And you know, it's not like I hang out with them 24/7. And if anything, like the three people that I'm thinking of specifically, they're really nice to me. Bo is one of them, and he's a wonderful lab partner. He's very intelligent. And the two other guys, like one of them is just the sweetest thing in the world, and he's always so nice actually both of them are so nice when they see me, and yeah. So yeah, I'm very insecure about what other people think about me. Okay, sixth thing is I do enjoy getting attention way too much. And if I don't know, like if I'm honest with myself, I think we were friends, but again, like I think I just kept him around because he gave me attention, and then when the whole thing with Taylor came up, I lost that attention that I had. I didn't know what to do, and it's like I'm not pretty anymore because no one's paying attention to me, which like is kind of, it's hard to admit, but it's true, and I want to be as honest in these things as I can. But yeah, I didn't like him. I just liked the attention. I'm looking at my notes. So I feed off of other people to feel good. Typically guys. I don't really know why I do that or how. I mean, a lot of people are like, well, if you do that, you have a poor relationship with your father. And like, me and my dad, we're fine. Like, yeah, he has his anger issues and I yell back at him and stuff, but like, we're okay now. I don't really see it. Like, I don't get why I desire that so much. I mean, if you, like, dude, this is episode 21. Like, how many failed relationship stuff do I have to go through? But, yeah. Seventh thing that I learned was I can't go back and forth between my feelings and people because it's not fair. Because, okay, so basically the whole thing that I'm trying to get through here is that I didn't like Bill, but I kept him around because he gave me attention. And then after the attention went over to Taylor, I was freaking out. And then I decided, I guess, that, oh no, but I really did like you. But no, I just really liked the attention. And I can't go back and forth between I like you, oh no, I don't like you, oh, I like you, because like that's not really fair to the other person. And I wouldn't want someone doing that to me. That's a shitty thing to do. Okay, so eighth thing is that, again, faux relationships, and that I get really close to a person and everyone thinks that we're going out, but we're really not. I mean, since I've started college, I think there's like 4 instances of that happening. No, 3. No, 4. 4 instances of that happening. James, Bill, and 2 other people that I can think of off the top of my head right now. Whether or not they'll get an episode, I'm still on the fence about. But yeah, he, like, the faux relationship thing, even he, like, brought it up, and he's like, yeah, I'm tired of being your backup boyfriend. And at the time, I was like, no, but now that I think about it, I pretty much treated him like that, and I feel really bad about that, because I shouldn't have done that, because that's a very shitty thing to do. And the 9th thing that I will say is that I was young and stupid, and it's okay. Okay, I admit that, yeah, like, I treated him pretty bad, but it was a learning experience for both of us. And I'm not saying that, you know, that makes what happened completely okay, because again, like, I was pretty shitty. But I was young and I was stupid and I had no idea what was going on or how to act or how to feel or what to do. So in a sense, like, looking at that, like, it's kind of okay, and I shouldn't beat myself up so hard. And I just need to, like, learn from this and move on, which I have, kind of. I mean, again, like, I basically don't really care about what happened, But at the same time, I never want to see Bill again. I never want to see Taylor again. Really wonder how their marriage is going. But yeah, like, we all make really dumb mistakes when we're younger, and we all say really dumb things, and we make mistakes, and I just really need to learn from this, and I'm still learning from it. I mean, it's kind of cool to have my friends, though. My friends who have stuck by me, and you know who you are. Like, it's kind of cool that every time I, like, beat myself up over it, like, my friends are always like, well, why? Like, it doesn't even matter anymore. Like, me and my friends used to refer to him as Satan, though. Which I thought was pretty fucking awesome. Even though that was really terrible. Like, again, Jessica was like, really, Kim? Out of all the people, him. Jamie said, like, he looks like a pedophile. Even, like, you know, my core group of friends at school, so Meg, Jessica, Brittany, like, I've told them, like, how I feel, like, I'm so, like, you know, like, I really fucked up and I'm a terrible person, and, like, even they're just like, you know what, Kim, you just kind of screwed up. You needed to learn somehow, which was nice. And, like, you know, they were, also my friends are like, who cares what they think about you? And even David, like, I told him everything that happened between Bill and I, and, yeah, I told David everything that happened between Bill and I was like, I'm so scared of what other people think about me, and David was just like, Kim, who gives a crap what they think about you? And, I remember, like, during the whole, like, as everything was unfolding, San Diego was just kind of like, you know, like, he was there and he consoled me, and, like, I told him everything, and he would sit and listen, and he would give me advice. Like, if it wasn't for San Diego, I wouldn't have found my extra awesome pump up song, and I wouldn't have dropped it like it's hot. So yeah, friendship. And I really hope that Bill never sees this. I hope that Taylor never sees this, because I'm mildly worried that something bad will happen if they do. But I highly doubt that Bill and Taylor think about this anymore, and I feel as if, like, to them, I'm probably some insignificant person that was in the past. So I hope their marriage is going well, and I pray to Cthulhu that I never have to see him again. So I hope you enjoyed this 3-part extravaganza of the ExFiles. I really enjoy making these, and there is one episode that I know for sure that I want to do about the guy who patted me on the head. But I am going to wait on that because it's still kind of fresh for me, and I just want to take some time before I make an episode on that so I can, like, heal, I guess you can say. But don't worry, like, it's gonna happen. Spoiler alert, it has to do with Mormons. But yeah, for everyone who's watching, thank you so very, very much. And, like, the fact that some people actually watch this makes me really happy. Like, I don't know. Yeah. So, thanks again, and have a wonderful day or night or whenever you're watching this. I'm gonna go upload this now. Okay, bye.